Have you ever stopped to think, maybe, what gives that really smooth texture to your favorite yogurt? Or helps a wound heal just right? Or even what makes that, dental impression so accurate? Well, often it's down to this hidden powerhouse ingredient, kind of working behind the scenes. So today we're doing a deep dive into the pretty fascinating world of alginates and their derivatives, of course. Our mission, really, is to unpack where these things actually come from, look at their incredible versatility, and understand why they're becoming so vital. I mean, across so many industries.
Exactly, and they are vital. At their core, alginates are natural polysaccharides, complex sugar polymers, and they mainly come from brown seaweed. What makes them so valuable, really, is their unique ability to, well, interact with ions like calcium. That lets them form stable gels or thicken things up, stabilize mixtures. It's that cross-linked network they form. That's the key to their function.
Okay, right. So this interaction is key. Let's dig into that a bit. Our sources, and this includes some recent market analysis from cognitive market research, they show just how big this market actually is already. Alginates are, they're everywhere. Food additives, advanced wound care, cosmetics, even specialized textile printing. The global market estimate for alginates and derivatives was sitting around, what, USD 512.2 million in 2024?
Yeah, and what's really interesting there isn't just the current number, but the projection. This market isn't standing still at all. It's expected to grow quite significantly. The forecast suggests it could reach approximately USD 816.37 million by the end of 2032, which means a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 6.000%. That's a pretty healthy growth.
To 6%. Okay. So the big question then is, how did this seaweed derivative become such a major player in so many different areas? And what does that future look like, especially with that kind of growth forecast? Let's get ready to uncover some surprising facts about this industry. Now, talking about that impressive growth, it's not just happening randomly, right? There have to be some clear drivers. What's really fueling this demand for alginates?
Well, a major factor, if you look at the bigger picture, is this big consumer shift. People want natural, organic, plant-based ingredients. You see it everywhere. Alginates fit that perfectly, obviously, being from seaweed. They offer those clean label options consumers are looking for. And then there's the push from the healthcare industry, which is expanding, partly due to the aging global population. Plus, just ongoing technological advances are constantly finding new ways to use them.
That makes total sense. You just walk down the grocery aisle, right? You see that move away from artificial stuff. So how exactly are alginates meeting that demand? Let's take the food sector, for example. You mentioned binding agents, but what else are they doing?
Oh, they're incredibly versatile in food, much more than just binders. They're texture modifiers, thickeners, gelling agents. They can even replace fat.
Fat replacers, how does that work?
Well, think about low-calorie or low-fat foods. Alginates can provide that creamy, rich mouthfeel people expect, but without the actual fat.
Oh, okay.
And in things like restructured meats or maybe vegan burgers, they act like a natural glue, holding everything together nicely. Or in desserts, sauces, they create that specific stable consistency. It's really about engineering that sensory experience, not just binding.
That's a great way to put it, engineering the experience.
Yeah.
And you mentioned healthcare, too. That part fascinates me. How can seaweed extract be so crucial in medicine?
Right, it's a good question. Why alginates there? Well, a huge factor is their biocompatibility. Basically, the body tolerates them very well. They don't cause adverse reactions, and they have low toxicity.
Okay, crucial for medical use.
Absolutely. So that makes them ideal for pharma and biological applications. Think about advanced wound dressings. Alginates absorb wound exudate, that fluid, creating a moist environment, which we know promotes healing and can reduce pain.
Right.
They're also really important in drug delivery. They can encapsulate active ingredients to control how they're released in the body. And, as you hinted at, we're even seeing them used as bioinks, for cutting-edge stuff like tissue engineering and 3D bioprinting.
Wow, bioinks, tissue engineering.
Yeah.
That is a massive leap from a dental impression, isn't it? Really hammers home that powerhouse ingredient idea. Okay, so given this huge range of uses, the market must be fiercely competitive. We saw some names mentioned, FMC Corporation, Chimica, Cargill. What's that competition like?
Oh, it's definitely competitive, highly competitive. You have major players like FMC Corporation. They held a dominant share, something like 29% back in 2023. But what's interesting about FMC's position isn't just the market share number. It's likely how they got there. Their long-standing vertical integration. From harvesting the seaweed right through to the final processed product, That probably gives them a huge edge.
Ah, control over the whole chain.
Exactly. In quality control, supply chain stability, probably cost efficiency too. That's a really important insight for anyone watching this market.
I see.
So smaller players often have to compete by focusing on niche areas, maybe high-value applications, or offering specialized organic or non-GMO versions.
So it's not just about volume, it's about controlling that value chain. That really changes the perspective. But what about challenges? I mean, anything derived from nature has variability, right? Are there supply issues, other hurdles?
Absolutely, that's a key point. While they're natural, that also means vulnerability. Seasonal availability of the raw material, variations in the seaweed quality itself. These things can definitely impact production costs and consistency.
Makes sense.
But the industry is very aware of this. They're proactively tackling it through more sustainable harvesting practices, for one, and also through continuous improvements in the extraction technology, trying to get better yields, more consistency.
So innovation is key there too.
Yes, and strategic moves. We saw things like Tilico acquiring ingredient solutions that broadened their portfolio, adding organic and non-GMO alginates, and other hydrocolloids. Those are substances that gel in water. It just shows that forward momentum, an emphasis on sustainability and diversification.
Okay, reflecting back on our whole deep dive then, it's really quite a journey. It showcases the incredible versatility of these alginates, from just, simple brown seaweed to widespread use in food, pharma, cosmetics, even these super advanced biomedical uses like tissue engineering.
Indeed. And we've seen what's driving it, that rising demand for natural stuff, the growing healthcare sector, and just constant tech advances finding new roles for them. The regional aspect is interesting too. North America holds a big chunk, about 35% in 2023, but Europe at 30% is actually projected to surge, up to 34% by 2024, apparently representing the highest regional growth rate, that CAGR, at 12%.
12% in Europe, wow.
Yeah, and it's likely driven by their really strong focus on sustainable development and innovation in natural ingredients. Asia Pacific is also significant, around 25%, fueled by industrialization and growing consumer markets there.
And beyond the numbers, something that really stood out for me was that competitive landscape. We
Yeah.
talked about FMC, Chemica, Cargill, and learning how alginates help meet very specific consumer demands, low-cal, low-fat foods, needing that texture. And the textile printing thing. For color retention, who knew? That kind of blew my mind, actually.
It's surprising, isn't it? And while those challenges exist, the raw material variability, production costs, the industry is clearly tackling them head on. Sustainable sourcing, better extraction tech. Those strategic acquisitions we mentioned, like Tilly adding organic options, really highlight the push towards innovation and environmental responsibility. It says a lot about the value of alginates that this investment keeps happening despite the hurdles.
So, okay, what does this all mean for you listening in? Well, next time you pick up a product with that great smooth texture or use a specialized medical dressing, maybe even notice the vibrant color on a fabric, you'll have a much deeper appreciation for the sort of silent workhorse behind it all, alginates. It really shows how these natural compounds are just becoming more and more vital in modern production and innovation, too.
Right. And if we zoom out, connect it to the bigger picture, the whole alginate story really underscores the power of using natural biodegradable materials. They can meet complex industrial needs while lining up with global sustainability goals, which is huge. So for you, the curious learner, maybe consider this. How might the success and evolution of this alginate market, driven by its natural origins and its sheer versatility, how might that inspire innovation elsewhere? In other material sciences, other industries that are also looking for that sweet spot between high functionality and being environmentally responsible, especially as the world really pushes for more sustainable solutions.
That's a lot to ponder, definitely.
Hmm.
This deep dive has certainly illuminated an area that's often overlooked, but clearly incredibly impactful. Until next time, keep exploring.